Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Docs. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Bryan from Barrett Distribution. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Happy to be here.
I'm so excited for me and the viewers to get to know a little bit more about you. First question, obviously super standard. Where did you grow up? Where do you live now?
It's a good question, right? Where did I grow up? I have to think about it. No, I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. Good old Pittsburgh Yinzer boy. I lived there the first 30 years of my life, born and raised Western PA. And then I've made my way down to Tampa, Florida over the past, I guess, number of years. But in between there, I lived in Chicago, Charlotte, Charleston, kind of did an East Coast tour. But yeah, I've been in Tampa, Florida for about 5 years now. And it's sunny, and I miss Pittsburgh a little bit, and I miss my friends, but I don't think I could ever leave this place.
Are you a Penguins fan?
Yeah, of course. It's a hockey town. You know this.
It's a hockey town.
Yeah, and I'm barely old enough to remember the Lemieux and Yager years, which is like early '90s. Of course, Crosby and Malkin are the new guys. But yeah, definitely a hockey guy.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm definitely jealous of your son in Tampa. Probably a lot better than when you were in Pittsburgh, for sure.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your first job. So you grew up in Pittsburgh. What was like your first job? And then tell me a little bit about how you got into what you're doing now.
Yeah. So first job, I started at my own company actually, a senior year in college, and I did not have a first job. I actually got my first job at 38, I think, or 35. I don't know. I did everything backwards. So I started a company at my senior year in college in reverse logistics when the internet was starting to grow and take off with eBay and Amazon. It's just before Amazon, it was eBay. But yeah, so was really reselling electronics and reverse logistics. And it's a long story that would take up many, many hours and probably put people to sleep. But the gist of it was I was an entrepreneur, and I hired my best friends and grew the company really, really quickly. And I did not have a first normal job. So I don't know if that, I think we made the first year in business, maybe made $12,000. I think that was like a huge win. And I lived in a townhome with two of my buddies in a bedroom that was the size of a kitchen, and had the time of my life. It was awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's a really cool first experience, honestly.
I learned a lot.
So tell me what it is that you do now exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's a good segue because in essence, my first company was CS Markets, and then I started another company, ChampTires.com, with a friend in Pittsburgh, and we were running our own warehouse and self-fulfilling all of our own products. Mm-hmm. So when I closed the door on the entrepreneurship life after like 15, 16 years, I moved into, sorry, my dog might be barking. I moved into supply chain in contract logistics through a friend in the industry. Sorry, I might have to put Titus away. Can you see him in the video?
A little bit, but it's okay. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. So anyway, worked my way into supply chain, and it was a good fit because I was a former operator. So what I found in this industry is selling supply chain, enterprise logistics, specifically contract logistics. It really helps to have a warehouse understanding, operations, IT, the whole 9 yards. And then, so when I was trying to think of what I wanted to do next, this was a fantastic industry to stumble into for me because I had unloaded trucks with pallet jacks myself. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know the terminology. I know what a floor looks like. We did our own picking. We had our own solutions. So anyway, so here I am at Barrett. Before Barrett, I was at Kenco, another national mid-market, well-known 3PL. Both very similar, family-owned, privately held. And Barrett's been around for 85 years. We have a wonderful team here, a team of experts really, and a team of folks that I've been able to learn from. So it's been really great.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit, I know that in this industry, there's so many challenges all the time. What do you find the biggest challenge or the hardest part of working in the industry that you do is?
Oh man, challenge. I wear a couple hats here. So I run our marketing department, and I also am sales. And so there's challenges selling solutions, but we're not really selling anything. So here's the thing. I think the challenge for us as a company, especially working with new companies looking for new 3PLs or providers, is really conveying how do we get folks, other companies to align with us, and how do we grow? How do we partner together, if you will, and have a mutual understanding of what the future growth looks like, and have a give and take relationship where it's like, hey, we say you should do this, and have them trust that we're saying is not necessarily, it's not as you're a client, it's as a partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yes, we have to make money doing what we do. And so when there's like a mutual understanding of, okay, we use Barrett as a 3PL, and they have to make their X amount of money or whatever, the advice we're giving isn't, in today's world, I think it's very easy for companies to feel like everything they're being told is to somehow go again, take money from them, or not the best advice. And so I think that's the challenge. And either whether it's during the sales process or the partnership processes, and that takes time. It's a trusted relationship. You know, it's like a husband and wife. Like, it's a trusted relationship where it's like, hey, I'm going to give you advice. It's my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and it's going to always be advice that would help you. And that could take some time to develop. What do you think about that? What's that?
100%. I said to accept. You know, sometimes it's like it takes a second for the advice to be accepted or to be done. You know, like in a relationship, there's always a stubborn one. You know, I'm easily the stubborn. Yes, I am the stubborn one, unfortunately. I don't like to admit it because I'm always right. But anyways,
see, you got to leave that always right at the door. So, but you know, it's true. Like, we're always right too, and our customers are always right. And sometimes the customer's not always right, and sometimes Barrett's not always right. And sometimes we make mistakes. So I think the challenge is for long-term success is to get both teams understanding that even when the mistakes are made, even when the advice is bad, the intentions are good. And mistakes can be made, but they can be recovered from quickly. And that's my opinion on customer relationship and logistics and supply chain, especially 100%. In the remote world, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I really agree with that. I think like transparency and like putting relationships first really is the most important thing. I think it can be very forgotten, especially in such an automated type of world right now. Like, the human connection isn't like super valued as much anymore. But I definitely think it makes
it still is on the buying side. So that's interesting.
But that's where the difference is made. You know what I mean? So 100% there.
There's two things clients are buying from. It's expertise and trustworthiness. Overwhelmingly, the number two things that companies are buying 3PL, like, that's what they're paying for. And they're commingled, they're related. You become if you're an expert, you show your expertise through your honesty and your trustworthiness. You can't separate the two. And so that takes time, and that means you say no to a lot of business, and that means we say no to a lot of partners. But that means when we do bring on ones that they come here, they end up really loving Barrett. Typically. Yeah. So anyway.
For sure. How long have you been at Barrett now?
Gosh, it feels like a decade, but I've actually about 4.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the time of you working at Barrett, and then also maybe previous jobs, like, what's your favorite part of working in this industry that kind of just keeps you going each day?
It's I think with what everybody, it sounds cheesy, it's what everybody says. It's your coworkers, you know. Like, one of my best friend Harrison Smith works here, and I have and Scott Hotham, our chief commercial officer. We have a great friendship relationship. We also can be honest with each other, annoy each other a little bit, laugh about it, and I'm still learning. And maybe he would learn something from me once in a while, you know, and like, that's okay. Like, you know, it's a really good dynamic. Our commercial team is fun, and these are the immediate people that you work with, right? And then I've gotten to meet some of our operators, you know, Bill Johnson and Alex Glanzer and Mike Rodriguez, some of these guys that I've gotten to meet out that before, when I first start, you know, we don't know each other. They're like customer relationships, right? So I think work should be fun. It's a lie that you shouldn't be able to smile and laugh and joke. Like, it's a lie. You should be able to be yourself, have an opinion, have a point of view, be kind, you know, not be rude. You know, it doesn't mean you say whatever you want to say. It means be yourself. And truthfully, in enterprise sales, all enterprise sales, especially in supply chain, you have to be. People don't buy from fake. You can't speak like a robot. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be a human being. But yeah, to answer your question, it's definitely the people, and then the customers that I've met and the relationships you build. That's it. It's not complicated. They say a good boss or a bad boss, a bad coworker can take an A player and push them somewhere else. And that's totally true. And even when they don't leave, if somebody just waiting at the door to leave, the cascades. And so I look at myself I would say this, Chloe, the other reason is Barrett is very results oriented at the end of the day, which totally fits me. Like, we're encouraged to move fast, maybe make some mistakes once in a while, but ultimately, executive team, we are results oriented for our clients. So you get results, you get stuff done, you move the needle forward for your customers, you get rewarded. And I think I've noticed that, and that's why I think we have people here for 10, 15, 20 years. I've only done 4 so far. But it starts to make sense as I think about, because we're not perfect either, right? I look around, we have some things annoy me, right? Like different things. And then I think, you think, well, why are people still here? And I'm like, well, okay. Because if you work hard and do your job and produce and get results, people celebrate that.
I think the environment is so important. Like, you could love your job, but if the environment isn't good, like, you'll end up hating what you do. And like, I've been through that before, and like, it's crazy. Like, you begin hating it. Like, you become always in work. You don't like, it's like you yourself, you're just like, ew, how have I become this person? And you realize that your environment has everything to do with it. So I think that probably speaks volumes to what it's like at Barrett, because if you had people there for so many years, that means you guys are doing something right for sure. So. And, I wish you 15 years more if that's what you choose to do. So.
I just want to be alive 15 years. Jay Schwedelson says, like, I don't love my job. Nobody love. I don't love my job. Like, it's work. It's hard. Hard. It's hard to do what? It's hard to succeed. It's hard to build a business 3rd generation. I wasn't a part of that, right? Like, there was 20 years of success here before I came. Mm-hmm. It's difficult. It doesn't end at 5 o'clock. It is. If you are in sales, you do work 7 days a week. Okay, mm-hmm. That's okay for me. It's not for everyone. But like, loving your job, what does that mean? Like, it's like, sure, I like to be able to wake up. I love to know that I can wake up, work hard, and be rewarded. That's kind of how I look at it. But like, you and I feel like we would laugh. Like, are we in love with supply chain?
No, like,
I don't know. I love basketball, right? No, tennis. Go ahead.
No, I love the water and margaritas, and I've had to do for the rest of my life. I
love hitting tennis balls a Saturday morning, right? Like, that's what I love.
We should definitely play tennis sometime if ever you're in the area. But genuinely, I have yet to find a job that allows me to just play tennis, drink margaritas, and be on the beach. But the day do
you play tennis? We should do this.
I do play tennis. I love playing tennis. Ask me to play golf. I'm trying, and if anyone watches,
that's all that matters.
Ryan invited me to go to a golf tournament, and I was like, yeah, I could play golf, but like,
Ryan's the founder, right? Of
the founder, yeah. Okay. And so I've been in golf lessons so that I don't embarrass myself for the golf tournament.
This is
perfect. Yeah, but this is probably a PSA to everybody watching. I probably will hit turf at least twice. But
no, that's okay. Look, golf, you take 3 lessons, learn the basics, grip,
exactly.
Grip, back,
Yes,
and
exactly.
then you're off and running.
Exactly.
And then, by the way, next thing you know, 20 years from now, you're like pretty good. You're like, man, I'm really glad I started golf, even if it was late in my life.
I like it because it's a challenge, because I like a lot of other sports, but golf in general, like, I get frustrated within myself because like, I'm not good at it. And like, that to me is like the biggest motivator, because I'm competitive.
Sport, Chloe. It's a dumb sport like that I've played all my life. You're never gonna be great at it. Like, even I think I got pretty good, and then like, it's so humbling. It's the worst feeling in the world.
That's what I'm saying. It's frustrating because you're just like
we're going to spend a bunch of money for the next 4 hours to get pissed off at ourselves. So that's why they say you can learn a lot when you golf with somebody, because I don't keep score. I don't get angry anymore. I have fun.
I usually just end up making like the drinks on the cart, because I'll hit a few balls and then I'm like getting annoyed. So then I'll learn the game, and then I'll just be like a supportive background. So
you can play golf with us anytime if you're making drinks and then fun transfusions and whatever.
No problem. Tennis, however, I can play, and tennis I get competitive with. So if if I come to Florida, which hopefully soon, because I know that
WareMatch should come down. There's a lot of supply chain folks. We got Jack Hutchinson from 2 Boxes. Shout out Jack. He's over in St. Pete now. We got a couple guys in Orlando. We got a couple good supply chain folks. But yeah, let me know.
Fun little 4-day trip. I will. In the work. I'll be like, listen, it's great PR. We need to.
Yes. We'll do a man on the street video.
Yes, I think that's good. WareMatch in Florida asking questions. That could be super interesting. Good thing you're in marketing. I need to throw this his way. But yeah, on that point of just in general with marketing, with you, I know you've been in marketing for a while. Obviously working in supply chain, logistics, like people are really good at what they do, but in general, marketing just seems to be a big issue because it's very oversaturated and people are having issues with how to market themselves to stand out. What for you are initiatives that you do or that you find that people can do better to help market themselves in in an industry that's very saturated?
Do market like as an individual or as a company, or you want my secrets for the?
Maybe don't share your secrets unless you.
No, it's fine because people don't listen to you anyway. That's what I found. I was joking with Kat the other day. I was reading that like Jay Schwedelson gets on LinkedIn every day and gives away all the secrets. And I said, well, if everybody was Jay, like there wouldn't be a Jay. And I realized that only 10% of people listen to advice. Did you know that? It doesn't even matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like you and I could sit here and give out the perfect advice, and people won't do a thing until they have pain. Yeah. It's like the child will touch the stove. It doesn't matter. His parent can say, don't touch the stove. It's going to burn and it's going to hurt, and it will still touch the stove. Okay. So anyway, so I would say from a company standpoint, I think the most relevant branding in the industry right now is elevating your clients. They tell a bigger story. We're in a commodity industry. We're selling a service. Yes, there's automation. Yes, there's robot, whatever. All the prices, we're in a single digit industry margin wise. If you make 8%, that's great. Okay. We're all, it's saturated. Yes. The bar to entry is low. Yes. But there's risk mitigation. When clients make decisions on their supply chain, they're not just prices. That's the silliest. That's the one thing. They're asking like, do I trust you? Do I trust you with my business? Do I trust you with the people that work there? Will I lose my job if I bring my company to your 3PL, depending on how large they are, right? And so what's impactful for those decision makers is to see other companies who have made those decisions before you that you know of. Okay. So if you're starting a new purse brand, Chloe, and or whatever, and I say, well, look, Louis Vuitton has been with us for 19 years. They're not, by the way. But if I did, how much does that how does that make you feel versus me saying, Barrett's really great at XYZ and we have these product features? You know, Steve Jobs talks a lot about this with, you never hear about the iPhone features, right? No. But if I say, look, everybody has the iPhone and you have blue text instead of green, you're like, I'm in. So I think from a marketing standpoint, it tells a bigger story to say, have your clients speak for you. And this is what we do at Barrett. You know, we tout our successful relationships, we develop partnerships, and we ask our clients to really just talk about their own company. You don't have to tell, like, and by inclusion, we're like Barrett on the side. It's, you know, there's comfort in there's comfort in decision making. So I think that's and you're starting to see that. I feel like some people are copying us, but that's cool. You know, I think that's the most impactful thing for a buyer decision is, okay, who are their current customers? How long have they been there? And what do they say about them publicly? And that also puts visibility on our operations. I've seen our relations, we've focused on this. I've seen our operators develop next level relationships with the clients for visibility, right? Because it humanizes the relationship. It's not just their products in the warehouse. It's like John Doe, his company, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I've seen in the industry, right? And that's what we focus our marketing on. So we are constantly producing hopefully value add content, also content that aids the decision making of the buyer, right, in the future. And that's the hard thing with that is you have to have a CFO and a CEO behind that process, that thinking, because it's not like click, 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 lead, close business. Right. So luckily, shout out to our executive team. We have buy-in on the long game of developing a brand. You know, not just, hey, we spend this, get Y, because that's not how our industry works. Right. Nobody's clicking an ad, filling out a form, and then signing a 3PL 3-year contract. No. Sorry, I hope that wasn't boring, but that's. Oh, it wasn't. I think that you're really hitting the nail on the head here. And like, obviously, if people are copying you, that means you're doing something right in life. Like that's kind of what it always is. People are always watching, and you know, it is what it is. Like that's just. I said the same thing with the videos that we were posting on like LinkedIn and stuff. We were laughing because we were like, oh, now we saw a few people doing the same thing. But we're like, we're happy to influence people because it's, you know, it's a big market, and if I were able to give you ideas, then good riddance, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that means you guys are doing something right for sure. And I really do love you keep re-mentioning like that personal touch and keeping that relationship and knowing about their brands and making them feel like, you know,
they're of importance and they're of value.
Well, they are. It's not. That's the thing, is you can't fake it. So that's the other thing. It's like you can't just hop on the like a lot of the brands, a lot of the branding that we do and the marketing that we do, we're not faking it. Like I am friends with my clients. They like some of my other salespeople. Like we do have good relationships because you wouldn't be able to do what we did if you didn't. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's genuine. It's like people know, like, hey, I don't want my name on LinkedIn, right? I hate you guys. You know what I mean? Or like whatever. Like that wouldn't fly. So no. And you can't just stumble into it. You have to put everything we do with our partners. Kulani is a great example. I have been with them for a year and a half, and I have worked at developing relationships, and I genuinely like their team. Mm-hmm. And that happens over a year and a half. So now you have a workable partner where you can do marketing and advertising. It's not, you can't fake it. And so you can't just wake up one day and say, oh, you know what? We're going to do what Barrett does. We're going to just start promoting all of our customers. Good luck if you don't know their names and who they are and where they live and what they like to do and what their business, what's important for the business, right? And so I think in my 4 years here, really we're starting to do this from the onboard on and do it in a genuine way and really just promote the customers themselves. I love like Kat Roth. She's done like all these unboxing videos for clients. I've seen, and it wasn't about like, I mean, that was literally all about celebrating our clients in our building and then some free airtime because, you know, they sell stuff to everybody. Right.
Right.
So, you know, and we've had comments from like scouts. Hey, you guys actually drove some sales for us. Great.
Amazing.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I love that. Tell me, like, you know, obviously in your career, I'm sure you've gone through a bunch of different moments and life lessons. I'd love to learn or know about something that maybe wasn't funny at the time, but now you look back and you kind of laugh on it and it's a learning lesson. I'm sure you have a bunch.
Yeah. Well, I have one that's definitely wasn't funny at the time, but it's kind of funny now. Is that I remember probably like 12 years ago in my tire facility in Chicago, I had an employee knock down an entire about 20,000 square feet of racking.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And luckily nobody was injured and all that, but it was like a mangled mess of steel. And it was like 4 days before Christmas. Yeah. So it was just like the worst time, the worst everything.
Oh no.
Lost a bunch of money. I mean, it was awful. But I just remember in that moment just saying, I actually just had everybody go home because it was so bad. I couldn't tackle it for the day. But I look back and think, well, it's kind of funny.
Right before Christmas too must have been like.
When I go through our warehouses now, I always think about the fallen racks. I don't talk about it though. Nobody does that.
Thank God no one was hurt from that, honestly.
Yeah, no, they were installing them. It was during an install.
Okay.
It was just like an empty building of mangled steel.
My goodness. Well, right before Christmas is probably like the most traumatizing thing too, because you were like, ready.
Yeah, no, it was just like, it was the worst. It was the worst time.
You're like ready for your time off, and then just like the worst thing happens, and you're like really like already burnt out from the end of your year. You're like,
no, it's terrible. These are things you look back and time is a healer.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you mentioned that you do a little bit of sales, and then you also do your marketing.
A lot of it. Sorry.
A lot of sales. Sorry.
My dog is just. I'm gonna have to put him away.
You're fine. Don't worry. What do you find like in your experience in working kind of in both sides? What's something you find is like a red flag that people should look for when they choose their fulfillment partner?
Not meeting the operations team or not doing the site, I would give a couple, giving prices right away, not being encouraged to meet other operators, not the GM. Mm-hmm. I don't think do people actually do that? Companies do that? Maybe. I think you need not being encouraged to broadly meet larger teams besides the sales guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a salesperson, but I have operator experience and like across the different departments, right? But at the end of the day, people who don't know me will come in and like, I'm a salesperson. So I can't just because I know operations maybe they don't believe that. Why would they believe that? So I bring in other experts. And so I think you want to meet a good set of experts from a team, because this is your supply chain. This is your company. This is one of the most important things that your company is going to do. And you can't just meet one or two people and sign a deal.
100%.
Is that I don't know if that.
No, I really love that answer. I think it's so important. And I think it's something that like some people overlook because they try to make the process super quick because they need like the solution right away. But sometimes moving just like too quick, it's like by not doing those visits or meeting that team, like
That's
how do
scary. That's a red flag for us.
100%. Like, how do you know it's going to be a right fit? Because what if something's the right fit in the facility, but the team that's going to be working with your brand is not?
I mean, Chloe, you're spot on. This is why we say no to a lot of businesses, and we don't tell them it's because they might be immature or don't know what they're looking for. But that's true. And I was that stubborn guy. See, that's another thing that helps me out from my past. I was that stubborn guy. Believe it or not, right? Like I was the guy.
I'm only stubborn in relationships, not with
Oh,
professional work.
well, that's great. Like I would have been that guy that didn't listen. Wanted to run my own supply chain, do it my own way. I understand that person.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I just like, let him make mistakes, come back, whatever. And by the way, sometimes the company doesn't need a 3PL. So I'll tell them, look, you don't need it. You're looking for something you don't even need. So, it's fine. We don't kick against the goads here. Right? Like it just,
I don't think I've ever heard that saying.
It's a good one. It's from the Bible. We don't fight against something that is right in front of, like, we don't pound our head against a brick wall. If you need Barrett, you don't need Barrett. We'll tell you. We will tell you if you don't need us. We don't fight against bias. And I just think it's a good. I just think it's a good. Oh, by the way, famous line from my best friend from Kenco years ago. He said that you're only as good as the best GM. You're only as good as the GM in your building, which is totally true. Barrett has 26 facilities, and everyone has different levels of skill sets and abilities and growth. Mm-hmm. And we'd like to think every building is amazing, right? Sometimes there's challenges, and it usually comes down to, like, maybe we just hired a new person, and it's a new GM. Do I want to put a new customer in that building versus the one that's been humming for 18 years, and I know the GM,
right?
So these are things you want to think about when you're selecting.
It's true though. Like those things are all super important. And like, in my background, kind of before starting here, I worked with a lot of distribution centers, and it was always a thing I always said, where it was like, you need to go on site. Like you need to see the people vibe. Like it's so important.
Absolutely.
And I think the fact that you guys are not like yes men, like the fact that you guys are, you're very transparent, and you'll be okay to not take a business rather than force yourself to take a deal that won't work for your team. Like that's so important. And I feel like for me is one of my biggest red flags that I kind of talk to like clients with, or you guys
talk to a lot. I'd love to hear what you think, Chloe. You guys talk to a lot of these clients. Like,
for sure.
What do you think that these red flags are?
Well, I agree with you. I definitely think like quoting off the back. I definitely think like not seeing the site, not meeting the team, like not comparing multiple like different 3PLs. Like they'll go and they'll see one, and they'll just be so quick to like want the solution to be figured out that they'll just take the first that comes to the plate without comparing, which is like, obviously with the platform that we have, we'll show them their best fits and what fits the best. But I always think it's important to like compare things. Like you don't go on a first date and then after your first date, you're like, yes, this is my husband. You marry him the next day.
You certainly don't do it with just swiping only.
No, exactly.
You get catfished. You better show up. Nobody ever looks like their photos.
No, they don't, honestly. And like,
we're better in person, Chloe.
100%. I can't do dating apps to save my life. You'll never find me on one. I can't. But genuinely, like, that's what I mean. Like, it's like, you won't go, some people, yes, they go on a date. You're like, okay, you meet that person, you end up marrying them, fine.
No,
but like,
5 seconds, so you do know when you meet someone.
Obviously, you're not going to go sign your life away the next day. So same thing. You're not going to jump into a long-term contract after just seeing one option and that's it, which is why I think it's kind of like, what we do is that's what's great about it, is that you can really compare things and we'll find you the right partner. And then, everything's very advertised as to what could be the right fit for you. But I think that's a commonly mistake that's made that I've seen in the past, even before working with WareMatch, is that people are just so quick that they get into something and they don't even read the full contract.
They don't value, people don't, get back to relationship stuff, people don't value what they don't know.
Exactly.
So you see, as you move up the supply chain, like the size of the business, once you move into Fortune 500, 100, and dedicated and like integrated logistics plus deals, the larger companies, they do know how important it is. They need to make sure you need to be making money, you need to be profitable, it goes way beyond just like Instagram brands, whatever. You need omnichannel. But the risk mitigation decisions are still the same for department heads, and that is why it's important to have client relationship. They still make decisions based on the company like for like. They don't want like, Apple Computer isn't gonna have a 3PL that's like a single building that whatever. Yeah. I'm not gonna bash anybody today, but my point is they need to have like for like on liability insurance standards, blah blah blah, because there's too much to lose. So you move up the value chain as you grow your business, make more money. You have things to protect, right? You can't just say, well, if it goes under, it goes under. Well, no, it changes that. A $100 million company, $200 million company. And so, that's our sweet spot, I think, is being a level out partner for omnichannel brands that kind of graduate from that type of thinking. And usually it doesn't happen without pain. That's the thing.
100%.
So we're having a lot of conversations around, okay, I thought this is the way it was, and now it's not. I got burnt. My company's grown. I can't grow anymore. And now that's perfect for Barrett. Because then we don't have to coach. We don't have to teach. And we're not selling really anything. We're just saying, here's who we are. Here's what we value here. And if it aligns and you think we can get the work done, let's partner.
And I think that that's how you guys have built the reputation that you have, honestly. Like, the 3PL space, like as much as it's saturated, it's also small in certain ways. And like,
good. It's tight you're hitting it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, like, your reputation is everything. The service that you provide is everything. Obviously, like, mistakes and learning lessons have happened over time, but I think it's really how you guys have adapted. And like, I don't think I've ever heard anything negative. And I think that everyone that has worked with you guys or the stories that I've heard are all very positive. And that just goes to show that you guys really put value on relationships first. Yeah. You don't take everything that comes into your door, which is really like a red flag. We're
not perfect. So either just for
obviously not. No,
like we have clients that have come and it didn't work out and it was a fire and it was sometimes our fault. And that is what you learn. You got to learn from quickly and never make the mistakes again. Like 100%. Attrition's normal too, by the way, 4 or 5%. Like just in general, there's attrition. It's fancy word of saying companies go out of business. They file, like we have companies that go bankrupt. We have companies that need to switch providers for what a new PE group comes in and says, hey, like, I don't know who Barrett is, but I know who John Doe is. We're moving the company and that's it. Okay. So that type of stuff happens. We definitely have had like disasters or terrible onboards, right? Like,
but that's everywhere. If you don't have any negative things that have happened, if you don't have any,
I know.
That's more concerning. I would say that
everyone has who's been around this long. Yeah.
You think everybody I don't know. Look at your numbers.
It stinks because that singular bias or that singular bad experience with Barrett from 19 years ago from a person that's bad because think about like how FedEx and UPS are where like you could pull 100 people. What do you think about UPS? What do you think about FedEx? To me, they're like very similar services. They're so close in service and speed, and they're almost identical price. One person my mom might be like, I hate FedEx or I only love UPS, right? And then what you drill into, what you really find out is what my mom might be saying is she just really loves her UPS driver. That's it. That's the only difference. You know what I'm saying? When you drill into the reason why people, it's like my FedEx guy knows my name and he's been driving in my neighborhood for 18 years.
Yeah,
that's it. So the corporations, they know that. And that's why they're paying their drivers, by the way, wink, wink. So like UPS contract, the reason why they're paying their drivers to do their job, and they are great, is because of that. Because you have guys that literally know their kids' names in the neighborhood instead of like a new worker making minimum wage and delivering packages in his Camry.
For sure.
That is completely different buying experience. And UPS realized, holy crap, we can't, we like, that took us 100 years to build. So same thing happens at Barrett, is we have those relationships that, but one bad delivery, one bad driver experience. It's like,
it happens. Well, now, especially with social media, like something bad happens, everyone has their dash cam, like their ring cameras, and like they'll post person just threw their package.
Right.
But at the
like
same
the Spirit
time,
Airlines guy, remember did everybody see that when the guy was like tossing luggage? Like,
yes, and then they were like,
what is going on?
But then at the same time on social media, there's the people that like put snacks and stuff for their delivery drivers out, and it's like this whole thing that you see online all the time where the delivery drivers come and they have like mini fridges outside filled with snacks. Like it's the same thing. But I think that now in the world that we live in, your reputation is the most important, which is why putting a highlight on the service that you provide is the most important, because at the end of the day, it's not like back then. Like now it's one bad review, it goes trending, which is unfortunate, but it's just what it is. So I think that when people put attention on the right thing, positive will come in that, you know?
No, you are. And folks that don't get that sell on, the only thing left to do is sell on price.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't, you know, that's how you enter the market is you'd be lying if you start a 3PL today, you're lying if you say you have all this experience, but because you don't. So how else are you going to win business? It's only price. So you buy business, win on price, and it's just very difficult. You can't the weird thing is it's like it's a low margin industry that you can have success, but it very easily can go upside down very quickly.
100%.
And it's capital intensive. So, and that's a credit to Tim and Art, Barrett, and Scott Hogan, Chris Percio. The way we run our company is this weird mix of aggressive investing but conservative behavior, and it's a little magic and it works out. But we're kind of also a bank sometimes, but we're tight on terms. You know, we're maybe a little more expensive than other people, but we're also forgiving. You know, it's just like it's not a science, and in the meantime, we've over the last, I don't know, especially the last 5-10 years, last year we've seen a lot of companies go out.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy.
It is. It's insane. I feel like I'm always hearing of something else, and I know. I think it's just really, it's unfortunate. It's the world we live in right now, and adaptability is like the most important thing. And I think that with everything that's happening over the past few years, that has really affected the space. Unfortunately, it's just been too much for some companies rather than others. So, you know, I think that people adapting to the current market is really the most important thing. And at the end of the day, it's every company that I know that is doing well despite everything that's happening is all the people that put clients and people.
It's all people.
That's what saves you at the end of the day. So you guys are definitely doing something right there.
Yeah.
I'd love to know, you know, like last 1-2 questions. I'd love to know exactly what it is that, you know, Barrett Distribution specializes in and where you guys are located.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
Little plug. We'll put everybody to sleep today, Chloe. It's fine. It's a good question. I will answer it best I can. So we are definitely a level up provider for omnichannel brands. We do D2C, of course. We have some companies that started here, even like UFOs. They have some great stories, but our bread and butter is going to be, you know, custom, unique solutions with personalization and VAS and really unique requirements in multiple channels. So a great fit for Barrett is somebody who's doing a ton of volume on D2C, et cetera, but they know that their next growth is B2B. And they need, maybe they need two locations, whatever, but they need to be in Nordstrom, Costco, Target, and and they need to do it really quickly. And by the way, they also have personalization, and maybe they need some gift notes, and maybe they need some, you know, early wrapping, whatever, right? Or maybe they need some garment on hanger. And so what they really need at that point is a custom, unique solution for their entire business with 4 walls inside our building. And so that's a great fit for us, because usually what that also means is, you have a higher margin product. So we have a lot of best of breeds here. When I go through our portfolio, I see, like, you know, the best slides or the best like male hoodies or the best golf polos. And so those companies typically are doing something a little different themselves. They too have, you know, selling XYZ for higher value. They're doing like college logos on their hoodies, et cetera. They're doing US Open on their golf polo. So they're asking us for unique things, and they want to pay for it. When I say pay for it, I mean like cover the cost, and your 3PL makes money doing it too. That's a partnership. So those are like perfect brands for us. And we also take flyers on startups. We have a good EA program. Again, like, are there better suited companies for certain things? Of course. But maybe you want to come to Barrett because you're going to go really fast and you don't want to switch 3PLs in 6 months, right? Or, you know, we've done a lot of startups we've done have backing, have VC money, and they're saying, look, we think we can get to this level by 3 months, and we just don't want to go through the pain of having to do this ourselves for 3 months and then switch or start, you know. So there's nuance and all that, but I think that bread and butter is that, you know, like for like, they're you know, we're not Geodis. We don't have locations in Europe, right? So, you know, we're in a good sweet spot of it's really tough to outgrow us in the US, almost impossible. But if you need a global provider, that's not us.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, I think you guys are really good at what you do. And the fact that you're able to adapt to so many different types of customers definitely plays in your favor a lot as well. Where are you guys located? Like, centers.
Headquarters in Massachusetts, which means nothing because our warehouse, our epicenters are, our hub and spoke is Memphis, campus region in Memphis, campus region in Dallas, Southern Cal, Montebello, LA area, and then of course New Jersey, 3 locations in New Jersey. We also in the Port of Baltimore. We have a warehouse in Baltimore, and Massachusetts is our headquarters with our original building.
Wow, that's amazing.
But right now the launching nodes are it's Dallas, Memphis, a lot.
Okay.
A contraction in the market, and then of course sometimes people need to be in the Northeast. We have 3 great facilities in New Jersey, and then Southern California, and one in Fresno.
No, you guys are definitely very well located, like throughout.
Yeah.
So I think at your point where it's like no matter what the client needs, you're kind of able to help that, which is great. Yeah. Is there any current like projects you guys are working on or special, initiatives you'd like to share?
Oh, of course, but I can't share them. But we're working on some things.
Some things that.
Yeah, some secret things going on here. Yeah, we have a couple big things we're working on. Always working on a few things. A couple big customer announcements. So you gotta smash the subscribe button, Chloe.
Exactly.
Smash the like and follow.
That was the perfect ending. I really appreciate it. But yeah, no, I think that you guys are doing a lot of amazing things, and I can't wait to see what else you guys are coming out with. Any special projects? I know if it's from you and Kat, there's going to be some exciting things
Chloe,
coming.
we're gonna have to run it back, and you can be on with us, and I will interview you.
Yes,
and,
maybe in Miami. Maybe I can come
anytime.
live.
I'm in Tampa, but you can go to Miami with Kat.
There's both places.
Yeah, they're close. It's close. It's a 20-minute flight, but we will run it back because we love doing these webinars and slicing it up, and we'll promote you guys as well. We love what WareMatch is doing. I know Scott Hotham been a big fan. I'm a big fan. And I love that you guys are not the 3PL matchmaker finder, that whole space. I love that you are also adding people elements to your process, because the next evolution of what you do will be consultative and yeah. So tell your team thank you very much, and we'll definitely we'll run it back.
I will. I'm excited to run it back. I'm excited to see what else you have coming.
Right.
For anyone that's interested in learning more about Barrett, we're going to have their profile for WareMatch in the comments, as well as all their website information. So people will be able to come talk to you if they need anything. But I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast, Bryan. It was a pleasure. And obviously we'll talk very, very soon. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and for coming on. I appreciate it. And enjoy sunny Tampa.
All right. Have a good day.